Welcome back for the Natural Muscle Radio, even though it's called Natty Muscle Radio. I always prefer to put a natural in there sometimes.
That's the closest you've got. That's the closest you've got in a while to getting it right. Heisenberg mug.
Or the pre-workout. Funny story behind this one. This is the broken one. My dad's got sentimental value from the one that I bought him like 10 years ago. My mum dropped it, so he was furious. So said, "Can you do me a favour and buy me another mug?" So then, literally, I ordered it like about 10 hours ago, and then it turned up this morning. Ridiculous. Wow. Amazon is so fast; it's crazy. You couldn't believe it. It was like, I don't understand. How is it here this quick? Like, well, obviously, Heisenberg made it happen. So good, Heisenberg. What about if I pre-workout in this mug?
Well, I feel like we should do that because pre-workout now has become an episode of Breaking Bad with the amount of shit.
Indeed, it has. And I've got like regular filtered coffee in this mug. That's because if you haven't noticed, I'm not in my usual surroundings tonight.
Well,
gone to visit my parents, so I've had to not bring my coffee machine. But if I was on the road for work, I would have bought my Nespresso machine for sure. My travel coffee machine, but not going to really carry the bean and cup around. So.
Well, I'm doing the Nordic Black that you provided me. It has a sweet taste, I'd say, for an espresso. That would be my review.
But it's also 100% better than Chris Edge's floral coffee.
Oh, it's like drinking a rose, wasn't it?
Weird, really weird. And obviously, he did pre-warm me. He didn't pretend it was nice or anything in his defense. But it was no, don't drink that. I was like, how bad can it be? It was pretty bad.
It was pretty bad. Don't drink it. I didn't want to skirt over the fact that you're in Norwich. Your birthplace, I believe?
Nope. I'm the only boy out of the family, so I'm lucky if there was any jokes.
No, but since you're in Norwich, I thought we'd start the podcast with 5 interesting facts about Norwich.
Has this come from Alan Partridge?
One of them may or may not be from Alan Partridge. People tune into the podcast for bodybuilding, but really, they tune in for our current affairs, banter, and most other things. So, if you're ready, I've got 5 interesting facts about Norwich for you. Okay.
Hit me. If it's gonna be better than 10 reasons you're not getting a pump, I'll be surprised. But hit me anyway.
All right. Did you know that Norwich was the first city in the UK to have a local newspaper and to use postcodes? What do you think about that?
Wow. In fact, that's an interesting. The first ones to have newspapers.
Local newspapers. Okay. Yeah.
Local newspapers.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
There are over 650 medieval churches. Can you attest to that, being in Norwich currently? Can you see one out the window? If you look right now, can you see a medieval church?
No, maybe a cathedral. It's probably medieval, I guess.
Okay, it was close enough. All right, maybe you'll know some of these. I believe that Norfolkese is a sort of slang language, and that there's some certain like Cockney rhyming slang. There's kind of like Norfolk terms as well. Okay, so if I was to say the word, I'm not going to say cuter. Kewter? Cooter? No?
No.
Okay, apparently that's
money. I don't know what that is.
Money, apparently.
Okay.
Yeah. What about if I was to say that you were, or someone was to pingle?
Never heard of that either. Wow. I've grown up coming to Norwich as well as a kid, so I've not heard of these.
That's to play with your food. Okay, which obviously we don't do at any point. Prep or off
You
season.
could probably test to the fact that you like metal cutlery on your tea. That's pretty much playing with your food. That's one habit that most people hate, but you like it for some reason.
Yeah. All right, a few animals and insects. Term for a wasp is a jasper. No?
I don't know what part of Norwich you've been to. Seriously.
Colney Lane, that's about it. And a snail is a dodman. Yeah.
No, these are all pies. We've made these up, and this is definitely more than 5 points. So.
All right. Okay. Well, the most important one is the pedestrianisation of London Street on the 17th of July, 1967, which is a famous Alan Partridge.
Yeah. Okay. So all the Partridge fans out there, like James Poynier, will be laughing right now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm glad we got that. I'm glad we got out of the way.
Very informative. Thanks. I'm sure people come here to learn on lots of subjects.
Yeah.
Don't
I learn.
Okay. So I need you to tell me. I need you to tell me the best thing in your bodybuilding survival kit care package that I made for you. What was the best thing about it?
I quite enjoyed the old team. Yeah. I'm not about that. I'm not normally. I said I'm not a big protein bar guy, but that was good. The chicken and rice meal with 3 grams of rice left over and a large portion of chicken. That was great.
Roasted chicken.
Actually, really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you season it with? Because that was nice.
I'm not giving all my secret seasonings away on this because then everyone will become really good bodybuilders. So.
Okay, that's fine. And I'm indifferent about the Nordic Black espresso shot. I'm not sure.
Okay, that's good because the reason why I made you that is when I used to go to my friend's house when I was like 8, maybe 9, when rollerblading was cool.
Yeah,
things like that.
Some people still say.
Cool.
Some people
guess
say
it was.
still.
Yeah, guess it could be. But I always used to love it because his nan used to make me always like a party bag to go away with, even though it was for no occasion. There would always be like a toy, something that she got from like only the shop I can describe as what would now be known as the like 90p shop or the pound store, but like a cool toy as a kid. It was called Strolling in Abingdon, which was basically had everything. Had like cleaning products, but also it's basically like an old version of B&M's before they decided to make it like what it is today.
Yeah.
Just get a toy, definitely pick a mix in there, and I just thought, why don't we do more of these things? So what would I want to receive? And I thought, he's going to want a couple of protein bars. He's probably going to need a meal, got a coffee, and some Boleros. I'm not sure if you've tried them.
Well, I've not had that yet. I'm going to save that.
Really?
Idea: Natty Muscle Radio party bags.
Yep. What, for the like prize giveaway for the end of the year?
No, let's give them out at shows this year for spectators who are kind of bored. Like because they're watching watching something they're not interested in. A class they're not bothered about. Web.
Ratty Ryan to deliver a box of Boosh box.
Yeah.
So cheers, Ratty Ryan, for already having new hair first of all, and also ponying out some goodie bags for us for the end of the year.
Cheers.
We'll tag him in that. Thanks, Ratty Ryan, for agreeing to that already. Obviously, best T-shirt ever award. Yeah,
I feel like we should get bumper stickers with memes on as well and put them in. That'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna need that intro music as my ringtone as well.
All right.
If people still have ringtones on their phones with weird shit on.
Yeah, I don't know. You can if you want, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's going to have to be a must. It's going to have to be a must for sure. It's very warm in here tonight. It's not optimal conditions for podcasts that I've created.
It's not.
I'm going to open the window live on the podcast.
All right,
that's okay. Yeah. Oh, it's already open apparently.
Oh dear. Oh, that's heartbreaking. Heartbreaking.
Never mind. Okay.
So you got a new T-shirt there.
Oh, this one.
This one. Yeah.
That's my Aaron got it for me.
Yeah, it's all right, isn't it?
Best ever.
Yeah.
How was your arms after a 2 hour and 15-minute arm blasting session?
I still have excruciating pain in my elbow.
Really?
So
wow.
Cheers. It was the might have been the regular skull crushers straight into doing next exercise, rest pause sort of skull crusher things. That was a lot of stuff going on the elbow. Yeah.
It's funny that, isn't it? I think it's very common to have that kind of elbow pain for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's mostly just my right elbow, but my knees are the same, so I'm not worried about it. It's one of them. But triceps are absolutely hanging off the bone. Biceps feel okay, actually. I think for me, so we did, for anybody that doesn't know, which is everybody.
Going to be here for 7 hours explaining all those giant sets.
I'm not going to go through the whole thing. Okay. We did Milos Sarcev sort of giant set workout. But I think if we're going to do that again, what I need to do is I need to lighten the load a little bit on biceps, because it just doesn't. It's too much going on, you know. So that's a lesson learned on that. But
my bicep pumps for like 3 days afterwards.
Right. You can curl. You know, doing seated dumbbell curls with 15 kilos is nothing to you, but it's a lot of weight for me to be able to do that, and it feels awkward. You know, so it's a lot of other things moving that weight rather than me biceps, you know, which has been my problem.
I know why. Because you've seen the, what's the name of the Arnold strict curl contraption that you put around your neck? The bicep blaster.
Yeah. The one. Yeah.
So for you who don't know what we're on about, it's basically the little thing you would have seen in pictures where it's like a metal piece that goes around like this, and then you rest your arms on it and curl. Well, Aaron's back is that wide that actually his elbows just sit against his lats like this. And therefore, everything he does is a strip curl because your back's so wide.
Pretty much.
Not sure if you noticed.
I wasn't going to say that, but it's pretty accurate, yeah. I do like double arm dumbbell curl, and it's like this. So yeah, okay.
So yeah, that was good.
Good workout.
Got caught by the police.
Yeah, that was interesting. I've never had to run into the back of a gym to escape the police.
We won't mention what gym it was in case they get in trouble, but we all had to, how should we say, social distance in the back room next to the Flapjacks and the Lucasades because the Popo were at the door. So
I felt like, you know, from going from the Breaking Bad pre-workout ritual to running from the police mid-workout, I never felt more like Heisenberg. I guess. Yeah. Would you be Heisenberg and I'd be Jesse, or from strictly bodybuilding? I think so, right?
The scientist. So.
No. But if we're talking bodybuilding, if the science is bodybuilding, then I think I'm the Jesse to your Heisenberg.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You seem happy about. Yeah.
Funny. What is it? Actually looks like my dad. That's what the funny thing is.
I haven't seen your dad, so I have now.
Funny. What else did I have to report on?
So I guess we could bring up the fact that gyms are opening, which is wicked.
Sorry, you cut out then. I missed that. What was that?
Gyms opening.
Yes, at last. So I think obviously Gym Unity fans are very pleased because he set up the outside Muscle Beach, Burton's Mecca, which actually has got a leg extension machine, which I've used before, which is from Crunch Gym because I had a workout at Crunch Gym once. And it's that good that everyone wants to replace the normal leg extensions with that one. So for whatever reason, like 3 plates on it is like, as in 3 little pins down, feels like a stack, but it's center loading as well.
Okay.
You know, when you've always got one to one side, it always feels like a little bit heavier on your right leg.
Yeah.
This is class. It's probably too big for how big a leg extension should be.
Right.
If you know what I mean. Like, you'd need a box to get on the seat for sure. But it is that's great. So that's been good feedback. But I did have a killer back workout in the week with Lewis and Peter Gray, and he's also managed to get those mats from a child's playground and basically pull them out of the floor. Which, bearing in mind, each one of them weighs about 100 kilos each.
Jesus.
But
okay.
You're moving this mat, and it's like every time it's the most awkwardest, heaviest, dense thing ever. So don't move one of them. You need a forklift to move it around. But they make great lifting platforms. But outside, it's like bounce your barbell off them. But that's great because they've got, some barbells, dumbbells, all the plates, cable crossovers, and a few other little bits. So it's ideal for people to get by for the next 2 weeks. Yeah. So,
that's wicked. So I guess we need to decide what we're doing when gyms are open then. We've got to do Natty Muscle Radio gym tour. We want to do a southern gym tour, right? We've been talking about wanting to do that forever. We literally wanted to do it in like March, and then it was like, nope.
What, the gyms you want to go down to, like down south, you mean?
Yeah, so we want to do Muscle Works Orpington, yeah. We want to do King's Gym Croydon. I'd like to do Ripped as well in Basildon.
Yeah.
That looks good. Yeah.
Not far from there is West Cliff where I worked, which only I can describe this gym as it's the partner gym to the one in Rayleigh, Stackhouse. It's where John Lofthouse trains. But it is like, it's a massive warehouse of like full kit. That's a cool gym. But the one in West Cliff, which is like, I don't know why that gym is there. It's like being done out, state of the art, and it's in like, where people walk around the streets with no shoes on.
Okay.
It's just like, there's like a Jamaican shop, and then there's a charity shop, and there's like a homeless person, and then that repeats itself down that road, and then a burnt out car, and then the plushest gym you've ever seen. It's like, why have we put this here? But yeah, that's cool. But yeah, there's a lot of gyms to choose from down that way, and I really would like to revisit where John Mitchell trains, which I introduced him to the gym, by the way. He used to live around the corner from Spartan Gym, which is in Southampton. Okay. And that gym is just pure class. It's just so hardcore.
I think were you working there earlier in the year, and you did some Instagram posts.
I got John to come and train with me, and then that's his usual gym. Obviously, when he's not training at home with bands. Yeah. Spinning around chairs and all the stuff. So obviously he's a fan of the podcast. He give us a little. So I'm giving him a shout out this week.
Yeah. One of our 5 fans. Thank you.
Introduced other people to the podcast as well. So please like and share this video.
Yes.
And subscribe, for goodness sake.
So we're so good at podcasts, but we're 21 minutes in and we're only just telling people to like and subscribe. So we should probably do that a bit better. But thank you for doing that anyway.
Yeah, but no, thank you. Basically, if you like it, do all the stuff you should do. Yeah, and if you don't watch it, because we're going to do it anyway, because we just like chatting every week. So it's going to happen. So.
Exactly. So what we're saying about first session then? Obviously we'll get a Unity session in, but we need to get to Ultraflex. I believe that's key. So
I guess it's going to be a matter of what's the word? Logistics, maybe. Of like how it's actually going to happen. It's going to be like if they only let 10 people at a time, because I was speaking to one of the local gym owners in Burton.
Yes.
And he was saying that apparently it's going to be something like 30 square foot per person in the gym or something stupid, which he was like, that's the whole corner of the gym. He was like, so we'll only be allowed to have like 10 people in. Max. So, we're not going to exactly be priority going to a gym like Ultraflex. And is it going to be members only for a while, for a time?
It's funny because I've been thinking about that, and obviously I'm lucky in the moment that we've got the Hobbit hole, so we're doing that, which is great. But at the same time, I'm following a lot of gyms around here. There's a gym local to me in Farnworth called King's Gym, not Croydon King's Gym, Farnworth King's Gym, and they claim that the square footage is big enough that they won't be doing a bucket system, and you can come and get a day pass and do what you like. So I think it's moreover a case of which gyms want to adhere to the rules and which ones don't. And the ones that don't,
the issue is going to have a little man come around with a clipboard and go, are they social distancing? Are they doing all the stuff right? Yeah, tick. And then move on to the next gym. And that's probably going to be it. And then everyone's just going to get back to normal anyway. It's like the shock horror on the radio the other day. The fact that, we've opened pubs and, oh my God, this bloke, he'd had 8 pints and he wasn't social distancing. It's like, yeah, I could have told you that was going to happen. Like, it's not science. And, I think that obviously people aren't going to be going to the gym to get drunk, but, it's soon going to slide just back into normal ways because, just go get those dumbbells at the rack. You're not going to sit there for 8 hours waiting to get a space. You're just going to go get the dumbbells.
Yeah. So I guess that'll be interesting to see. But we'll just play that by ear. But moreover, I think it's good news for shows, and better news for shows is this is now allowing outdoor performances, which is good because for anyone that didn't know, they'd announced like a 5-step plan for reopening. No, for reopening theatres and stuff. What are you saying? I missed that.
5-step guide to getting pumped. I thought you was going over that again.
No, I could do Norwich again if you like. No? That be a no? Okay, whatever. Fucking hell.
YouTube below saying please don't talk about Norwich anymore already, even though it's not been uploaded yet. So
okay, well, what we'll do is when it's been up for a few days, we'll put an Instagram poll up, and it can be more interesting facts about cities or less. Basically both sides. Okay. Anyway, the government had said that there was going to be like a 5-step process to reopening theatres and live shows. And we're currently on the 3rd one, which is outdoor performances. The next 2 are supposed to be indoor performances with reduced crowds, so to keep social distancing. And then the last step is just regular performances. So I think that it's great news because at this point now, if we're mid-July and we're talking outdoor performances, and the next step would be minimised crowds. Even if we're at that point, for the time of BNBF finals, UK DFAC finals, and whatever else, even if we've got reduced crowds, I think that can be managed because you've seen it, I've seen it. You go to a show, especially a finals, and people are in and out anyway because you'll get the people like myself who want to watch the whole thing, but then also people coming in and out to watch the son, boyfriend, daughter, whatever, just want to come see a few classes. So I think you could manage that relatively easy. Especially with the BNBF finals being at the M&S Arena, it's a big venue, so it's a big enough venue to arrange that. The foyer is massive, so I think you could do that. So I just think it's a good sign. So if you're prepping, keep prepping because I think we're onto something.
I agree. Yeah, you may want to dip in and out the show if there's a Five Guys or a Nando's nearby, as we well know.
Yes. I'll be keen for that. Don't know if you'll be able to do it.
I do miss going to the show, and then before we go, it's like, right, what's nearby? So who's competing, and where are we going for food afterwards? And if you're not, where are we going for food anyway? It's much better to go to shows in the off season. It kind of sucks when you're dying because you don't get all the.
Well, yeah. So spare a thought for me. So all you guys prepping, complaining, like, oh, I don't have a gym. I've got to prep in my garden. Oh, there might be shows, there might not be shows. Spare a thought for Ron, who is so excited this year to turn up to shows, 90 plus kilos, big, round, majestic hair, majestic beard, and sit there like a king, only bothered about where we're eating in the interval. And that has been took away from me by coronavirus.
But there's always next year. So
hell yes, there's next year. Don't worry. I'll be there like a king, enjoying. I've really always wanted to order takeout to a show, like live in the audience. Like that'd be great.
You could do it if you like search out the all you can eat Chinese, go, and then take Tupperware full. So fill your own Tupperware with like shredded chili beef, and then sit in the audience and eat your rice, and because at least it looks like you're a bodybuilder then in Tupperware, you know.
Imagine
McDonald's out. Let's go on that fat shit team McDonald's, but if you actually get a Tupperware, you could have made it at home. Could have done.
Okay. But imagine the scenes if you sat there kind of like 4 rows to the front and the Deliveroo guy comes in looking for you because you've just ordered whatever it might be. Yeah, a Five Guys. And how proud I would be when I just stand up and say it's mine. Thanks. We know, you know.
20 in his top pocket and then off you go. Yeah. Cheers, mate. Thank you for my burger.
One day.
Good. Well, speaking of hair, I have my hair cut for Tuesday since March. I'm not touched it, nothing. So I'm excited.
I'm excited for you because I know that you're struggling with that kind of in-between phase. And I get it.
It's just annoying because it makes me look like I'm receding more than I am, where it's getting long in the wrong areas. But I just can't deal with this, like this bit here, which doesn't really go behind my ear properly yet, and it's just annoying. So in a cap, it just keeps bulging out the side. So let's have a quick. You don't need to do yours because we can see yours is long, but I think that is well due a cut. So.
That's pretty. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll let you off. But we're still. It's whatever day before finals last year was the last time I got my haircut.
Was it? Wow, that's some dedication, that is, because it just gets to that shit phase in between where you're just like, I just want a fresh fade again.
No.
It's really.
I did want a fresh fade several times in that period, and I still think I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep it long for a while, but at some point I'll go shorter on the sides and just keep all this stuff going on here and just be like a Viking or something.
Yeah, surely you can still maintain that kind of like long hair and still have it a little bit tidier around the back and sides, and I basically look like Brad Pitt by the end of it. So
it's kind of that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to walk in and just go, Brad Pitt, just make,
he wants his hair like mine.
Yeah, he messaged me to say, seen you on the Natty Muscle Radio bodybuilding podcast, and just thought you were an absolute specimen. So can I please have your hair like Aeronn, please? And that's what's going to happen. So yeah. So yeah, looking forward to seeing you get your haircut then. It's going to be good.
So shall we talk about some bodybuilding?
Yeah.
I love bodybuilding. We had a good day on Friday, didn't we? Got to train, got to eat. So before we go on, come on then, tell me. I need some feedback from your meals. You just said it was nice, but
massive fan of the corn-fed chicken breast. That was quite a game changer for me, because I know you said you got it in specially, so thanks. But at the same time, I'm eating my chicken today, and like it's not the same, is it? So that was meal one. Meal one was seasoned, marinated, corn-fed chicken breast with air-fried chips. With
skin on, corn-fed
skin on, yeah, I did. I noticed those little bits of skin. There we go. So that was great. Then let's not forget the best post-workout shake ever, the Rapid Recover. So shout out to Unrivaled for making the shake ever.
Yeah.
Blended with ice, in a large Starbucks glass. Yep. And then the ribeye, the pièce de résistance, I think is what you say. It was great. With very creamy rice, I must say, as well. Even the rice was good. Yeah.
Annoying. I'm going to ruin all your normal meals because you'll be like, this doesn't taste like.
It's total bullshit, yeah. Everything I ate today was fucking rubbish. And all the while you were there on your diet portions, like a good old bodybuilder that you are.
Yeah. Didn't even have a steak. That's been committed, because I could have easily factored one in for sure.
Yeah. See, people don't understand the best bodybuilding days ever until they really do one.
Yes.
Original one was staying at mine, watched bodybuilding DVDs and YouTubes. We went Ultraflex, then we went to Nike Shop, and then I come back and watched more bodybuilding DVDs, ate food, and it was great. And then pretty much similar on Friday. What about a competition to have the, what's the word? What would be the word? Privilege to spend a bodybuilding day with Natty Muscles Radio's none other than DFAC Pro Robert Waterhouse and not DFAC Pro Aeronn. Who wouldn't want that?
So you'd get a meal.
Yeah.
A bodybuilding meal of your choice done by a chef here.
Yeah.
A training session.
Yeah.
While we scream like Dennis James's training partner.
Goodie bag.
A goodie bag for the optimal protein bars. Did you have the barbell?
Yeah, I've had them before. They're good. Yeah.
They're all right, aren't they? I just don't think
very
it
clean.
tastes protein.
They're very clean, aren't they? Like they taste good, you know.
Yeah. I always think though a bodybuilding like protein bar though should really be flapjack based because oats.
Yeah, you're missing out on the carbs otherwise. But yeah, so if anyone, we'll maybe run a competition for that. We've got so many competitions.
We're just doing like a massive prize draw, like a big raffle. It'd be great. Buy a raffle ticket.
We'll do a live raffle.
A live raffle, and then at the end, or Tom Bowler, if not. Why not?
Jesus Christ, that is a.
I see a whole carnival for it.
Please comment below. Comment below or comment on the story that this gets clipped up on if you know what a tombola is.
Yes or no.
If you were born in the 80s and know what a tombola is, then comment yes or no.
Funny. I did have to laugh because you did say this the other day, didn't you? It was like, oh, I really just miss going to the pictures. And I was like, The pictures? How old are you? I was like, you mean cinema?
You and
Like-
Claire give me so much shit for saying the pictures.
Oh, well, once when we were courting, we went to the pictures. I was like, all right, then.
Yeah.
You mean
Went to
going
the-
out.
Went to the picture house. Yes, well, sorry, I don't say cinema.
Okay. Right, let's talk some bodybuilding.
Bodybuilding
this
then,
week.
yes.
We're half an hour, so
Jesus.
7 minutes of rubber. So
You say 37 minutes of rubbish, but that doesn't include the 5 interesting facts about Norwich, does it? Because that was pure.
yeah,
Just checking. All right then. So
talking about
this week we're going to talk about overtraining and general training volume. Maybe a bit of over dieting. Generally overdoing it, I think, is the kind of idea.
this thing as overtraining. One of them.
Yeah.
So, well, to be fair, like as kind of like, you know, pro bodybuilding that is, it's not true either.
No.
100% can overtrain.
Yeah.
Because have you ever done them sessions where you've like absolutely ruined your legs, and no matter what you've eaten, no matter how much food you put away, no matter how many Five Guys or calories you consume, and how much glutamine and how many salt baths you have, legs are still torched for a good 7 days.
Pretty much
So-
any time I've trained legs with DSL. It's just the same every time.
I haven't got the glasses.
Oh, shit. All right. No, it's just that's a real. You've dropped the ball though. You should have brought them all the way. Oh, hi Darren. How's it going?
So hard.
Yeah, because
I used to be able to do that easily.
yeah, I can't do that. You see, because so unflexible. Can't even do it. All right. Yeah. So we've alluded to the fact before that mine and your training styles work well together because we like without getting into too much detail, we like the drop sets and the rest pauses and all the intensity techniques and the added volume sort of things in that respect. But the premise of our workout is starting with a heavy compound movement, and we'll go for a top set on that, and then everything else after that be as it may. So that's where our kind of training complements each other. And whereas I'm wounded and sore after our sessions, when I train with Darren, because it's so different to what I do, because it's so, it's not cardio based, but it's a far higher volume than what I'm typically used to. I am wounded for a significant amount of time, and not just leg pain, just general lungs tiredness, like just So that's happened to me with those sessions with Darren for sure. So yeah.
I think the things to distinguish between, first of all, is that I would say that I train high volume, but that's from the sheer amount of sets and the still being 6 to 8 range. But you can have someone who does the same amount of volume, but maybe less sets, but more reps. But the equivalent, I guess, really over the period of time is that you've actually maybe done similar rep ranges total. So let's say your 100 rep chest workout, they might do that in 5 sets, and I'm doing it in 20 because because powerlifting. So
well, I also think, and I think we'll touch on this a few times in the overtraining segment, because I would say it pertains to it, and it's that it's become, everyone trains the same. Everyone who trains hard and everyone who is successful at gaining muscle, in my opinion, pretty much trains the same. And what I mean by that is, whether you're Dorian Yates and Mike Mentzer and you say you do 1 working set, or whether you're Jay Cutler and you say you do 50 sets, everyone's doing the same amount of work, there or thereabouts. It's just which sets they're counting. It's become, in my opinion, it's become cool And it's become the kind of thing to say on social media, similar to last week when we said about it's cool to say you train push, or it's cool to say you train pull. To say that you do one set has become their thing, because it's like I'm so intense that I do one set only, and that's it. Like I don't need anything else. Like I do one set. I'm such a badass. I can do one set. In reality, everyone knows that that's not what's happening in the gym. You know, we do that. We could say that we do one set, because when Milos arms workout not included, but if we're training chest and our first move is an incline bench press, we will do, we might do 6-7 sets leading up to our one set because we're not feeling it, or we need to warm up. And some of those sets might be 1s, 2s, 3s. It might be 10 kilos off the main set, but it's just getting a feel of it. If you count those as sets, you count those as sets. If you don't, it's the same thing. Everyone's achieving the same thing. So I've noticed that it's definitely cool to say that you do that. You do that one thing. And then so as that pertains to overtraining, I feel that people look at a high volume workout now and say, oh, that's overtraining. Like if you do high volume, then that's not optimal for growth. But how many sets are you doing that are eliciting that growth? You know, when we do that chest workout, you know that top set of incline bench press is the set that is going to make the changes, not the 5 or 6 before. Now, if you're doing 5 or 6 sets of 10 hard reps leading up to your top set, then okay, then you're going about it the wrong way and you're overtraining.
Like, I'm not sure if we touched on it, but we may have spoke about this like just in, last weekend or whatever. But I think that, so what's clear to identify is how many sets out of your workout are you going with more than, how should we say, maybe 2 reps in reserve. Because that's what really is going to distinguish the difference between, like, as you said, like really taxing them deep muscle fibers and then ones that really cause muscle to be under stress in order to cause it some trauma, if you like. Yeah. So on bench press, as he said, we might do 7 sets, but it's almost like just getting the neurological pathways, getting in line and getting me. Because if you ever just went into the bench and just the second set you put 140 on the bar, there's no way I could lift it, or it would definitely not feel as good. But you have to almost, apart from the muscle just being warm, but you have to just get used to feeling the weight in the hands. So that's what I've been saying to a lot of clients this week, is like, I want you really to tell me how many sets, and that there's been quite a difference out of everyone who's following similar training programs of actually what they're doing. Like, some people are literally one warm-up set, and then everything else from that point on, including the other warm-up sets, are where they physically can't do another rep anymore because they're just fatigued. Not like it's like a fatigue because it's so heavy that you can't do another rep, but it's like if you did 50 reps with 20 kilo dumbbells, it's a different kind of fatigue and failure point. Your triceps feel like they're cramping and you can't do another rep, as opposed to actually physically can't lift it because it's so heavy. So I think that's, something to really look at in your own training of, what's the said. And if we're going back to overtraining, if you maybe do 20 working sets and all of them are like that, and you're getting sore a lot, you're tired a lot, you're getting the common problems of overtraining, then that's maybe what it's got needs to be looked at.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I brought up that point, really, is the kind of that one intense set and how it's become cool to say that, because I think those that don't train that way and those that are maybe overtraining because they're going in and they're from set 1, they're reaching for pretty much failure every time, is that you don't have to worry about thinking that you're only doing one set, because you can utilize those early sets that maybe you were going too hard on. So just like what you said, get yourself close, get yourself ready, get yourself acclimatized to that top set, because it can, going to be nothing worse than thinking of going in and going on a 3-plate incline or something like that straight off the bat. But at the same time, I think what some people struggle with, the notion of that top set, if you are only considering that as the set you've got, that's the one set. I've had a lot of people speaking, Dusty Hanshaw and the likes of JP as well. They consider that they've only got that one set of that exercise to make the change, and they are right, But I think for some people, it's a bit daunting for them to consider that if I balls up this set, then everything else was a waste of time. So therefore, they would prefer to do 4 or 5 sets of straight hard work, but not really get the same approach if you did just work up and hit that set. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Makes sense. It makes sense. I think it always just comes back around to what's the right amount to do and what's considered, like what maybe some people consider high volume, isn't high volume. It's like, I really have had like conversations with people who I turned down a training session with someone once because he was like, I'd like to train chest with you, but I only really do 2 exercises and go home. And I'm just like, well, what's the point? Like that doesn't, like, do you know what I mean? I won't be able to get a good workout out of that, and you're probably going to be absolutely screwed if we do. So we're probably not a good match to train. It wasn't me being a dick. It's like 2 sets. It's like I'm just kind of getting into it. No matter how hard them sets are, I'm still going to be able to recover and do more for sure. And it just means like, it doesn't mean like just 2 working sets out the whole program. He means like 2 sets. It's like, so there's that. But what my point was going to be was really the right amount of volume to do is doing the maximum amount of what you can recover from. You individually what you can recover from. So that comes back around to your overtraining aspect. If you are not recovering from it within like ample time, then you maybe are overlooking something from a recovery standpoint. Now, we have maybe touched on this, but when we talk about overtraining and not just volume, there's obviously quite a number of factors. So if you want to do your top 5 or top 10 reasons you're overtraining,
Norwich was the first city to have a local newspaper and use post. Training, right? Sorry.
Let's do 5. Let's set our goals low tonight. I'm tired today, but let's do 5. So the 5 main reasons you're overtraining.
All right.
Go. Number 1.
Training too often is a big one for me. Yes. I've spoke to guys that train 4 times a week, and I've seen how hard they train. And I think, you train 4 times a week because you wouldn't recover if you did anymore. I've been guilty of training too often because I've tried to split up body parts. And I could never really quite get it right, so that I still felt I was recovering. And it was only when I made sure I didn't train any more than 5 days a week. I take 2 rest days now. I really feel like I actually recover now, and I'm benefiting from each session. I would do less if I felt I could.
You almost have to do it to realize it, though, don't you? Like a good example is my client Chris. Like, I think he maybe overtrains a little bit because he trains 6 days a week. It's Chris Paling. But he just loves to train, and it's like, it's good for his mental state to just train lots. But would he maybe grow a little bit better if he only trained 4 days? But for his overall happiness, like 6 days is what he wants to do. So it's kind of like, okay. But for myself, having done 6 days on prep, I think that's been the massive difference for me this year, is that I didn't realize how much more I'm able to put into my training sessions only doing 4 days, and sometimes 5, but definitely not 6, and 100% not 6 times twice a day. So like at one point through prep, I was doing, I think 4 days out of 7 double days, and then the other days were all single sessions.
Mm-hmm.
So it was Monday to Friday, and a Saturday was just once, Monday was just once, and the rest were all double days. So there's no way that, you know, like eating on a calorie deficit and setting up the nutrition and supplementation the way it was, that like I wasn't overtraining, because I definitely was. And okay, it still looked great in the end, and it still was a, you know, a winning result. But I just wonder, coming back this year, how much difference it will look on the physique, whether it will or not. Who knows?
I wonder if on the same point before we move on to another one is, I wonder if you feel that you can get away with overtraining more in prep than you can in off season. And why I say that is that might raise a few eyebrows, because in prep you're maybe more prone to the negative aspect of overtraining, so burning out and all that kind of stuff. But if you consider that really in a prep, your goal should be to retain the muscle that you've built in the off season and get in shape. So there's the two things really. So that's and then you do that by maximizing strength and being in a calorie deficit, without really getting into any more than that. But if you're close to overtraining in prep, at least you're using calories that you can attribute to then more fat loss, and maybe even then food can be higher. It's not ideal, and I agree that you reducing the training days now will see you better at the end of this prep. But if we're strictly comparing off season to prep, I think where it kills people is in off season.
Yeah.
Because I think you feel good because you're strong and you're not hungry, and you know you want to go to the gym because you're getting great pumps and all that kind of stuff. And then you go and you do this session, you do that session, you do another session, and you're like, oh, I've done 5 days, but like I'm going to do arms as well or whatever, or I'm going to do push or pull, whatever you want. And that's more detrimental, because maybe we could say, segueing onto, I'm going to steal point 2, is that you're breaking down muscle in the gym, you're not growing muscle in the gym. So the time that you're spending lifting weights it's the John Meadows analogy again. If you're digging the hole, you're digging a hole to then fill it back up and grow. If you just dig it so deep by training too often, and with such maybe a volume that you can't recover from, like we said,
yeah,
that's more detrimental to what you really should be trying to get in an off season, is what I would say. Do you agree?
So just re-clarify point 1 and 2 as head notes then. So
point one is training too often, not taking enough rest days.
And point 2
is not acknowledging the fact that you grow outside of the gym, not in the gym.
Yeah.
So when you're making the improvements when you're home and you're eating, you know, so the more time you can spend doing that, the more time you can attribute to recovery, the more you'll get out of the time that you do spend in the gym.
Yeah. So point 3 of 5 reasons why you're overtraining. I've probably got quite a few actually, but let's go with injuries. So you're getting injured a lot.
Yeah.
So something that people just overlook, the fact they just go, "Oh, well, I've just got niggles." But these niggles are constantly getting bad. It's like, I think of a good analogy really, but you know, basically it's a case of that, you know, you're trying to build. It's like you wouldn't build a wall on a house and then like knock it down every other day. You know, right. You've got to allow that layers to come down. You're going to build it and then just like keep knocking it down. You've got to allow it to actually get something to where you end up with a structure. So, and it's the same with you know, with injuries. It's like you're not going to grow as well, but then you're also, that's a telltale sign that your body is maybe just a little bit overworked. And that could link into like, you know, you haven't hydrated properly and you haven't because that can cause a whole lot of problems when it comes to injuries. But if you're constantly getting niggles and really look at this like, you know, okay, we just accept, oh, I'm just getting old or whatever. But could it be the fact that maybe you haven't had a deload week? And as much as I can't remember the last time I had one, you know, I maybe have had one because I've been forced to, because I've been on holiday or something, or I've taken a few extra days. But one thing I definitely think is like this time round is like if I've not felt like training, I've been tired, not just being lazy, but actually feel like I'll take another rest day and then come back fresh for the next day. And I think that realizing that, okay, like, is this helping me to stay injury free because I'm just not pounding myself into the ground all the time?
Yeah.
So you've basically got to allow yourself to, yeah. Okay.
So my now famous shoulder injury, I've mentioned it that many times on the podcast, which, if you remember me saying, I think is my supraspinatus now, actually. Cheers, John Meadows, for the video that made me realise that. So I pulled a heavy deadlift one week, and then the following week I trained with the members of the fellowship of the Gains, Danos and Edgy. We did back. Throughout the entire back workout, my shoulder was sore. On any move, every rep, I just had just a bit of pain. But like similar to elbow pain, similar to knee pain, all that kind of same stuff that I just have anyway. Just ignored it. I was deep in off season. I was eating lots of food. It was great. I was strong. It was probably not long after the famous 7-plate T-bar in Ultraflex, which didn't really move a great range of motion, but looked cool anyway. And then the following week, I tried to train back again, and it was a lot more painful. Any rep, light or even progressively heavy, shoulder was screaming at me. But I continued anyway, and lo and behold, set before top set on deadlifts, and like bubble wrap in my shoulder, something tore, and the rest is history. I had 2 weeks of warning I did not listen to, you know. So you bring up not listening to injuries, and it happens to the best of us, me being the best of us naturally. But it's difficult because when you're in that groove, and whether you're in an off season or whether you're enjoying that, or whether you're in a prep and you're like, well, the show is in 4 weeks, so I'm not going to let up. I implore everybody to, especially if it is a niggle or a pain that is far beyond what you're used to. I trained legs today and my knees were in pain the entire workout. But my dad and his father before him have had the cartilage took out of their knees, and they never trained once. So I'm pretty sure that it's inherent, and that sometime down the line I'll have surgery on my knees, and that's that. I'm going to stand up from this chair after the podcast and I'll have sore knees. It's just the way it is. But this pain in my shoulder was far and away different to anything that I'd experienced before, and I did not heed it. So just to add to your point is, yes, listen to niggles, and listen to niggles that, you know, don't discount niggles that you maybe have had for a while, because there's something you can do about it. But if you develop something that is new and a little bit worse than a joint pain, really listen to that, because that one session that you miss, I'm sure if I didn't do that back session in the middle of that, if I didn't train with Dan and Edgy and do that back session, it probably would have been all right, because it would have recovered. You know. Yep. So. Yep. Listen to your.
So I'll do point 4 then. Since you took 2, I'll take 2.
All right.
You're not sleeping enough.
Yep.
Reasons are overtraining. Not you're just not going to bed on time, but basically you're just not getting enough rest in general.
Yeah.
So I'm a true believer in the fact that people who maybe only sleep 7 hours a night, I believe that having like a little nap in the daytime and to be able to regroup some of that does really work. Like it's one of the things you can do. But I do think to a certain point, like especially on prep, like, you know, you just don't sleep as well, especially when you get super lean. But it does mean getting into more of a routine of kind of like, I wouldn't say going to bed on time, but basically just kind of trying to switch off a little bit and let your brain calm down. And therefore, as I said, like trying to get 8 hours a night is going to make a huge difference to your training.
Yeah.
Speaking from experience, One thing I used to do last year, same again on different prep altogether, and to be fair, it's a winning formula, so I can't really knock it too much. But I used to train at 8 o'clock in the evening, take loads of pre-workout and not go to bed till 1. But then, to be fair, I didn't have to get up till about 8 o'clock for work the next day. Didn't start till 10. But I was just in a constant thing of not sleeping very well because of so much caffeine in your body. Although you sleep, you don't sleep like you would as if you hadn't had any.
Right.
So getting enough sleep is going to make a massive difference to you basically being able to recover from your sessions and therefore not overtraining.
Yeah, I agree. Sort of semi-tangent, but I was telling Dan North the other day about the height of my poor sleep on prep last year. There was one particular day, okay, where I went bed at sometime around 10, okay, and I fully woke up, was ready for the day at 5 to 12. I hadn't even broke into the next day. So that's so if that's happening, sort that out as best you can.
Really, isn't it? It's a funny thing to try and like get your head around why it's happening. And I'd love to know more about it.
I'd say, I mean, there's a lot of shit going on. It's a whole podcast, isn't it? Like really, like what's going on when you're that lean. Just a general level.
On next week,
tune in. Link might be here, maybe. I'll work it out. The general level of uncomfort means it's difficult to relax anyway. There was a time on prep when me and Cara tried to watch 4 films, and I just watched 2 minutes of each film and was like, no, I just couldn't get into it. I probably would have been better just watching a bodybuilding DVD. Hey?
The concentration span goes, doesn't it? So
yeah,
to be fair, let's actually do a podcast on this. Things with prep and sleep, because it really is a big subject, which I'm sure people have had lots of experience. People who are getting into it haven't faced yet. Maybe it's a little bit of a it's a good talking point, because like it can really mess up the whole way you feel. There was a program on Channel 4 once, and they basically did like a sleep experiment. So they got all these people and they basically sleep deprived them for like a week or 2. And then they try to make them do loads of like memory tests and things like that at the end of the week. And like you had guys going in there, like there was this one guy who was like, I'm well out, like I can just stay up forever. And then by like day 3, he was like, I just want to go to bed. Like proper crying about it. But you really can mess, like, just for me, like one bad night's sleep, I'm like, really miserable, because I always sleep well. So, but if you're someone who never really sleeps well, especially on prep, like, you wake up hungry or whatever. But yeah, as I said, it's a whole podcast.
This is next week's podcast. This is definitely next week's podcast, because it's a big deal. So there's lots of things, digestion, everything. So, okay. So 0.5 then. You're right. We could have definitely done the 10, but we'll stick to 5 because there's plenty here. So I'm going to say 0.5 is, and it's an obvious one. It's nutrition and supplementation. Now that sounds like a cool story, bro, because that's obvious. But it's the kind of ins and outs of what you're actually doing to do that, or what maybe you're not doing. If you feel like you're not recovering, and you think that I'm eating all right, I'm supplementing okay, what can you do that's better? One thing that you could do that's better is use Axe and Sledge Grind by Seth Rollins. So I say that because...
Does Dan North know what flavour this t-shirt is?
Does not know. He's coming up next week to the Hobbit Hole, so I'll ask him if he knows what a hard-working motherfucker tastes like at this point. Still probably doesn't. But yeah, I mentioned nutrition is obvious. If you've not got your nutrition where it needs to be, then you're not going to be recovering from workouts. But where supplementation can really, really kick in is things like intra-workout nutrition. It's not for everybody, and it's maybe a little bit science for some people, not bro enough for even me and you. We're classic old school. It's kind of not really something that you typically touch on. But I noticed such a drop off last year, and I think I mentioned it on the podcast. It's when I asked Darren, could I remove my cyclic dextrin in favour of having like a banana or something instead, because I wanted to eat something. Honestly, within a few workouts, I absolutely fell off a cliff, and just not only could I not recover from the workouts, I couldn't work out. So there are things you can do that really
help. Like, I wonder how much of that is psychological as well. It's like I sip my carb drink and I'm like, whoa, instant energy. And bear in mind, it's like 20 grams of carbs I'm having at the moment during intra workouts. Whereas like season sometimes it's up to like 75 grams of carbs during a workout. Like,
I would say, yeah. There's certain crying out loud. There's placebos in bodybuilding. If you're happy to rub chili powder on your glutes because you think it's going to burn fat, then that's absolutely fine. If you're willing to buy a product that does that because you think it works, then wicked. They sell deep heat spray in Quality Save. That will also do the trick. But things like taking carbs in your workout, I can honestly say that when I felt the kind of drop off, I'd forgot that I wasn't taking intra-workout because I was so happy that I could eat fruit instead. So I was eating fruit pre-workout, and I was like buzzing my tits off on the way to the gym. This small little portion of grapes and banana, whatever equated to 20 carbs, smash it pre-workout and fly into the gym and feel great. And I just couldn't work out why I felt so shit after the workout, and it was only when I realised.
2 sets in, yeah.
So I honestly do think it makes a difference. But there's things beyond that as well. There's I mentioned Grind, the Axe and Sledge supplement, because it took me a while to get on using it, but it was only when I read the profile. It's the EAAs, not just the BCAAs, the EAAs, which is important. But it's just little things like it's got the electrolytes, it's got the fancy coconut water, and I think if you're not hydrated when you're working out, your workout's going to suffer, and so is your recovery. So if you can do anything to help that, it's going to go a long way.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, it's like I often put supplements on people's plans and everything. I'm like this is what I use, are really good, and they're like, oh yeah, but don't worry, because I've been to B&M's and they have got amino acids on sale for £4. And I'm like, right, okay, cool. And then he's like, yeah, just to let you know, I tried that BCA and I found out why it's £4 because it's like Gandhi's flip flop. I was like, all right, cool.
Nice.
So, but yeah, little things like I mean, okay, it might be 35 quid for a tub of VAAs, but at the end of the day, it's like I would want to use the best of those kind of things, like Unrivaled, Recover, and the AGF, like, because I actually notice a difference when I take it. And that's not a plug, because it's like I get sponsored by a company, so I get free stuff to use, and there's stuff that I use which is really good from them. But there's also like where it's like, all right, okay, I'm gonna actually have to pay for this product myself, even though I get other stuff free, because I want to use the best stuff. Now, other people might use it and not rate it as much, but like as I said, like this is not a plug for you to go and buy the product. But it really is like something that I noticed a big difference using, and like found that like my strength has actually gone up a little bit. And I was thinking, well, if that's the only thing I've changed, why is that happening? And obviously the flavor profile and stuff's great as well. But like, it makes sense to use stuff that's going to get you a good return. Like I feel better for supplementing with vitamin D3 in a higher dosage compared to a lower dosage. So it's like all these little things. Like, why wouldn't you use the better stuff? So
it's false economy if you don't, isn't it? There's certain supplements that you can get away with. You buy the not the bargain basement one, but the less expensive one. So I'll pretty much get all of my raw ingredient materials from bulk powders or my protein, whichever one's selling it the cheapest at the time. So that'll just be glutamine, I get Creapure, I get powdered psyllium husk and stuff. All them kind of things that if I would, I'm not going to get them any better quality anywhere else. But then whey protein, intra-workout EAAs, those kind of things. Those make a difference. And if you're doing if you say you're doing a high carb favoured natural bodybuilding diet, you shouldn't be spending that much money on food anyway. The first thing I messaged Darren when we started working together was thank you for saving me so much money. Because when I was doing a high protein diet, I was buying like 5 kilos of beef a week for Cara and I. And that suddenly just got halved, and you're buying a bag of potatoes for £1. So there are things that you can. That's not for everybody. I'm not saying everybody can go and afford to splash out on supplements, but when you are buying your supplements or your food, think about does this particular supplement or does this particular food source need to be a higher quality than it is? Evan Centopani thing said where he's on Evan Centopani is the best for if you want to talk about organic food and all that kind of stuff. He's great, he's brilliant. But then he talked about certain things that, like certain fruits that he would buy organic and farmed and all that kind of stuff, like an apple. He'd buy organic because he's eating it, he's taking a bite from the skin that's not had pesticides on it. Whereas if he's eating a banana, he thinks to himself, do I need to spend on the organic banana that has had the skin sprayed with pesticides and I'm going to take it out the skin? Probably not.
They say that as a good rule of thumb. So basically, the thicker the skin something is on like a pineapple or an avocado or something like that, it's very hard for them to be penetrated like that. Ooh, yeah. Penetrated, good word. So basically, that's a good rule, I think, for when buying fruit and veg, is to like things like spinach or whatever, definitely buy organic. It's going to help. But for like things like Costa Rican pineapples, for sure, you get those from wherever they come from. Yeah. Sweet. Right. So there's the learning segment for the week.
Yeah, 5 things there not to overtrain. And I guess we can wrap it up in a sec. But one thing I'd say as well with overtraining is I mentioned at the beginning this about. Why I mentioned about that kind of like, do you say you do 1 set or do you say you do 10? It marries perfectly with what you say about how much volume you can recover from. So long as you know what that is, so long as you're still getting that hard setting, whether it took you 10 to get there, it took you 3, whether you counted 9 or whether you just said you did 1, it doesn't matter. It's are you hitting that set hard, and then are you recovering from it? But what I've noticed as well, and I've tried to get a few people that I've trained with to get away from doing this, is as you get deeper into a workout, I found that those, let's say people do like finisher exercises, don't need to be doing 3 sets of 10, and the bobs and stuff. And why I say that is, for example, Chris and I have been doing the foam roller hat squats, okay? And when we first started training together, he was doing, you kind of like do 3 sets of 10. So I said, I do a drop set on the last one. Let's really make it hard. And then a couple of weeks ago, I said, well, why don't we just not do all these lead-up sets? Bear in mind, we've done front squats. We've done hamstring curls. We're pretty gassed at this point. We're at the end of the workout. What's better at that point, in my opinion, is really do 1 extended set. It can be really beneficial. You can get absolutely everything out of just getting in there. And so what we'd do, for example, we'd pick up a set of dumbbells and we'd do 4 drop sets and we wouldn't stop. There's no way we're doing 3 sets of that. And we're not doing any more at that point. And what that does, it allows you to hone in on the what you've got left in a workout. We did 2 back off sets of front squats today after a top set. I was pretty much done after that. So doing unnecessary volume at that point, I think that can really leave you in a hole that you're just not going to recover from. So when you're at the end of a workout, if you can have more precision on what you do, I think that'll go a long way.
Definitely. No, I agree with that. It's finding that sweet spot for it, isn't it? But as I said, like being honest, and with all these points, it's like I think you could probably rank them in priority, like of where it kind of falls down. And I think that training volume maybe falls down a little bit lower on the list compared to something like sleep, because, you know, it's something you can easily change, and it's, you know, it's, you're going to operate no matter what. But like with regards to actually, like, you're in control of that, like, you know, to a certain point, that training volume and noting that for your own body. But as I said, just being honest with, like, what's your progress like?
Yeah.
You have to look at it. So don't go and follow, like, if my training program that I send you, which, you know, I find, like, you know, this is the amount of volume I'm doing, and this is how I'm structuring the session with a column for warm-up sets and working sets, you know, and you treat all of them as like working sets, then, you know, you've got to find that you might just find, I'm going to do half of this volume, I'm going to do one set and everything first, and then I know I might be able to go, because, you know, your nutrition is going to be set up and all that kind of stuff. But you have to find that out, and you have to find that out through trial and error, because, you know, I always find the better people that I train with is because you're probably more matched, well, one, for strength, and two, for the way that you like to train. So the reason why we get on training so well is because we don't like to do lots of, like, you know, tempo work and time and attention. And it's nice to do it now and again. So I'm not having a dig at you, Darren, by whatever means, but it's just like, I like to train hard and heavy for a range of like 5 to 6s is where I like to work. I like to do a lot of stuff. Other people, so they might just like to do, you know, double the amount or even half that amount, and then feel that's more than enough. You know, like 6 sets for biceps isn't enough for me. I do need.
Right.
I enjoy training arms. You know what I mean? I enjoy training it. So why wouldn't I do it? You know, it's one of them. So you have to be honest with your feedback. So get in your logbook, write down all your results, write down what time you went to bed, and all the reasons.
Ultimately, with training, it's my favourite thing that I made up is you're just picking things up and putting it down again. It doesn't matter whether you're doing it 100 times lightly or 1 time very heavy, and everything in between. Picking stuff up and putting it down again, and you've got to recover from it. And so whichever way you decide is the best way for you to do that.
We can probably do 2 weeks' time, because we already have next week's podcast lined up. We can do one on logbooking.
Okay.
The pros and cons of logbooking, because it's something that I've done and haven't done, and you know, I expect there's going to be a big difference across the board for these. So we can maybe even do it as a little side subject for one of the weeks for sure.
All right. So as if anyone needed any reason to tune in next week to the Natty Muscle Radio Bodybuilding Wireless podcast on the YouTubes. We've already got a topic, which I forgot already. Sleep and dieting. Yeah, that. And then we'll do some talking about logbooks and whether you should or shouldn't do it.
Probably the week after. Yep, sweet.
Okay. All right then. So good at podcasts. Right. Live from Widnes, live from Norwich. Natty Muscle Radio.
There's always another level.
Peace.